Janko, and I'm talking about my German Jewish family. I live with my mum, my brother, my sister, and my dog.
Hello, kindergarten. This is Janko's mum, Rachel. I'm missing you all that I can't come and do reading with you because of COVID. Janko and I are very excited to share with you a little of our German Jewish heritage. The first person you're going to meet in our family is Janko's great-grandmother. Janko calls her Oma, which is German for like Nana or Granny. And her name is Ruth, like Miss Campbell. They've got the same name, Ruth. So we're going to introduce you now to Janko's Oma.
Kindergarten. My name is Ruth Silver, and I'm Janko's great-grandmother. I was born in Germany. I'm 91 years old. Jewish people were being persecuted. So we came to Australia on a ship. It took 6 weeks. It was a very long and stressful journey for my parents. We arrived here in November 1938, just before the war started. We had to assimilate, which was very difficult. My parents had work. We were going to public schools, and then for a short while we went to a Jewish home so that my parents could get on with finding more work. And yes, and so here I am at the age of 91, being this child's great-grandmother. First language is German. It was very difficult to learn English. We had to learn it at school. My parents did not speak any English, so therefore, when we came home from school, they would always learn a little bit from us, from what we had learned. I can still speak German fluently when I have the chance. Yeah, if you want me to say something in German, I'll say Janko ist ein wunderbares Kind.
Thank you, Oma, for that lovely little insight into your German and Jewish heritage. These are some photos of Janko's great-grandmother when she was still in Germany in the 1930s with her siblings. Now we're going to hear from Janko's grandfather, who he calls Opa, which means like Poppy or grandpa in German, and he's going to tell you a little bit more about his Jewish heritage.
Hello, kindergarten. My name's Stephen Motby, and my grandson is Janko Briggs. I was born in Australia in 1948. I'm 73 years old. I grew up in a Jewish household. All of my family and their friends were all Jewish people. People who had come to Australia, mainly from Germany, other parts of Europe. As a child, from about 4 or 5 years of age, until I was about 13, I was quite religious. I used to attend the Jewish Sunday school every Sunday, and I was taught the different Jewish festivals and some things about the Jewish language, which was Yiddish, or sometimes Hebrew. I learned to write in Hebrew. Someone has asked me to talk about bar mitzvah. In the Jewish tradition, there's a coming of age ceremony, and they call it the bar mitzvah. In my day, it was mainly for boys. So when boys reached the age of 13, they went to the synagogue and they read from the Bible. And after that ceremony was over, there's usually a party to celebrate the coming of age. And the 13-year-old boy was in effect a man, no longer a child. So once a week, I think it was on a Monday, I would go and see the rabbi at the synagogue, and we go through the Bible and the Torah and whatever, and learn a bit about religion. And I think just before my 13th birthday, after a year of going there once a week, I had the ceremony where I had to go to the Torah in the synagogue and everybody was there. They had a special pointer pointing at the Bible, and you had to read and you had to sing. It was all rather lovely.
This is a photo of a boy at his bar mitzvah. He's there with the rabbi and another man, and the boy is reading from the Torah, from these parchment scrolls. And like Janko's Orpa mentioned, he's using this special Torah pointer, which in Hebrew is called yad, which means hand. And as part of the ceremony, this young man would be reading these ancient scriptures in Hebrew and be singing at different times, all to celebrate him coming of age and becoming a man.
You wanted to hear about my favourite Jewish practice. Probably the high holidays, which would come around once a year. My grandmother and my mother would put on a beautiful feast. We'd read from the Bible. It was all rather good.
Thank you, Orpa. There are lots and lots of Jewish celebrations and high holy days, as Orpa referred to them. And one of the most popular or well-known Jewish festivals or celebrations is referred to as Passover, and it happens just before springtime and lasts for about 8 days. And it remembers the time long, long ago when the Jewish people, who at that time were referred to as the Hebrews, were still in captivity in Egypt. And God told the Hebrews through Moses that they needed to make a special sacrifice so that they wouldn't be affected by this plague. And anybody who made that sacrifice, the people in that home, the plague would pass over their home so that they wouldn't be affected. And still to this day, Jewish people celebrate that time because it was part of God's master plan of bringing the Hebrews out of captivity into freedom. And during that time, Jewish people eat a special diet, and one of the things they eat is this special bread called unleavened bread, which when I was a little girl it was called matzah, and it looked just like these big biscuits they've got here, and I thought they were delicious. I was probably not very traditional because I used to eat them with butter and lots of Vegemite. They were very tasty. Another Jewish celebration is known as Hanukkah, which I often used to think of it as Jewish Christmas because it happens just before Christmas, and often children get presents. My grandparents used to give me chocolate coins that they would call chocolate geld. It's a celebration that remembers this second temple that was built in Jerusalem just after the Israelites had regained Jerusalem back into their power. And the celebration goes for about 8 days, and each day a candle is lit, and the flickering flames of those candles represent the fragile light of freedom that the Jews are reminded to always keep alight, keep aflame.
I hope you enjoyed learning about my German Jewish family.